Welcome back to LUTE Labs. So far, we have created nodes and seen the three core types. Now let's actually link them together, because on their own, nodes don't actually do too much. It's the connections that make the flow engine flow. There are two orders that connect nodes: next node for a straight handoff, and choice for branching. There is a third and more complex method which we label as unlocking or locking node states, but we will cover this in a later video. For now, let's see the two core connection methods in the editor. Okay, so we're back in the Unity editor with our basic scene open and the flow engine docked. First, let's create a node. Next, we will add the next node order to the order list on this node. First, we click on the plus icon in the inspector for the node, and we will search for next node. A next node order passes control from one node to another. It has three typical modes. Stop ends the current node immediately and jumps straight to the next one. Wait until finish lets the current node finish orders in the list and then moves on. And continue runs both nodes side by side if you need something to keep happening in the background. For now, let's add another node for this. Now we have this node created, we can go back to the next node order and use the field on the order connect to the target node. As you can see, there's a drop down for target nodes, and this simply lists all the nodes on the Flow Engine window. We'll select our new node, and a line is drawn in which an arrow represents the direction of travel between these two nodes. We can go back to the target order and add some content, or target node, and add some content to it. Let's add a simple dialog so we can just get an idea of how this looks at runtime. Okay, so a simple dialogue order, just with some simple story text. So let's actually play the game and see what happens. Should be any second. Or not. Or not. Here we go. Okay, so we're in runtime right now, and we can do the next node order still on our original node. We'll right click this and execute, and you can see it was passed the instruction to go to the next node, which then plays this node, and then that shows the dialog order that we just created. Let's delete these and go over the choice orders. So the other type of connection is via choices. Let's create a new node and give you an example of how this looks. A choice order is how you build branching narratives, dialogue trees, quiz answers, menus, that type of thing. Say a question is offered to you and the player must pick two answers. Pick the correct one and a choice order sends you to the correct node. Pick an incorrect choice and it sends you to a different order or node. Same node, two choice orders with two completely different destinations. To do this, we can add a narrative choice order to our node. So we'll go here and we'll type in choice. There are two different types of choices. One is the menu, which is simply adding another menu choice to a pause menu or a start menu. And the second is more common, which is the narrative, which I just described. To do so, we need a target node. So let's create that now. We'll add some basic dialogue to this. And we'll simply call this hello. And on our original node, we will say, give it some options, and we'll call this say hello. And the target node will be the one that we've just created. So the choice order, when pressed, will lead to this node, and this node will say some dialogue. Let's take a look at this in runtime. So let's execute this node, and a choice pops up here. Upon pressing so, this node is then called. And that's just a kind of a key reason why the Flow engine is genuinely useful as a visual representation or a canvas, not just as a list. You can see these connections as arrows, so at a glance, the graph can tell you where its story branches and where it's moving forward. So that gives you a quick idea and overview of how nodes connect. Next time, we'll cover event handlers, how to actually trigger these nodes at runtime in the first place, rather than actually having to execute them using the context menus. Thanks for watching LUTE Labs, and see you in the next one.